Now we start a series, Vedic Science. Our approach is science and spirituality, not science versus spirituality. And this serves as a foundation. What does it say? It says human intellect is developed for advancement of learning in art, science and philosophy, physics, chemistry, psychology, economics, politics, etc. Correct? Now animals don't have this privilege. They cannot develop on poetry. Have seen anybody? Animals developing on science, physics, chemistry, psychology, economics. Corner. Keep it in the corner. It's okay. I think they are comfortable now. So this is okay. This is first part is understood. That we have a capacity to develop in this field. What are they? Art, science, philosophy, physics, chemistry. Now, by culture of such knowledge, the human society can attain perfection of life. Yeah? And then, something very interesting, this perfection of life culminates in the realization of Supreme Lord, or Supreme Being, Vishnu. You know, I became a full-time devotee. One of my classmates, he continued studying, and then he did, we were all in the college like you, sometimes he had interest in Gita. And today we have another organization, sister organization, part of ISKCON only, which is called BI, Bhaktivedanta Institute. And he is today a professor at IIT Kharagpur, and he is part of that. What they do is that they go to the top scientists and they try to convince about the Vedas. So he was telling me all this. You speak little science versus spirituality. You always say science with spirituality. So that is in that approach I am speaking. So it is okay. Now let us try to understand how is it possible actually, because generally our system is, I was telling you over the phone, that we feel that science is something which is fact, which is proven, and Vedas is something which is belief. Maybe it gives you some peace of mind, but it's not something you can understand logically at all. Correct? Generally, understanding is like this. True, we are all born in India and we are Hindus, so we wish if it could all been understood properly, it would be so nice. So today I will just begin an introduction on this, and 4 sessions I will develop on this new area. Okay? Because for me also it is somewhere I don't generally apply my mind. I generally, most of the time in temple, in Bangalore, I directly teach spirituality because I come to listen Gita. But what happens, particularly in the youth, there is a lot of questioning. Why it is like that? And not only that, we have been brought in a temperament that a lot of atheism we are exposed to. So sometimes those doubts keep lingering and they may disturb my natural service to the Lord. Okay? Actually, service to the Lord very naturally. It doesn't need any logic, it's so pleasurable. But sometimes those doubts keep lingering and they disturb me. So I will just begin today in a very simple way, and in 3 classes I will develop more. Very interesting. Science without religion is lame, and religion without science is blind. Even as spiritualists, we generally see that spiritualists don't have scientific temperament, which is very bad. You see, if you see Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna continuously asks Krishna, why? And then he is convinced, he said, yes, Krishna. At the end of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, Yathechasi tathakum. Do what you want to do. And what does Arjuna reply? Karishe vachanam tava. I'm going to follow you. It's so nice. He could have spoken in the first, actually the order of our Krishna is there in the 18th chapter. Sarva dharmana parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. You forget all your so-called kind of beauties. Just follow me. But Krishna told that after explaining the 700 verses. That is the Bhagavad Gita. And then after that also, Krishna says, after giving this order, he says, now, yathechasi tathaku, do what you want to do. It's left to you. That's you asked me what's my opinion? My opinion is finally, give up everything, just follow what I'm telling you. But Krishna explained why he should follow him in 700 verses. So nice, no? It's not, it's so exalted. Just like I give you an example. Suppose in a train, at the door of the train, there is a child standing, small child. What do you do? You will not tell him, and you drag him and make him sit on the, because what you will explain? But suppose, one of you is standing on the door, but sometimes we do while traveling. What will you hear? Somebody see, what is the speed of the train? And little jerks, if you fall, like today one sweet ball fell from the vehicle, then you know what is going to happen? You say, yes. Now decide what you want to do. I'll come this way. Isn't that very nice? That is the approach of Bhagavad Gita. In fact, around the world, the whole youth is having that approach. And proudly we are ready to say, around the world, nobody is able to give as systematic presentation as we are able to give. It's not available anymore. Even Krishna approached like that. And even you see Bhagavad Gita actually is the basic which you should study first, where the fundamentals of Krishna consciousness is established. Many times I request students, everybody who has come today first time will get a book as a gift. Okay. And so I request them, spend 10 minutes, just read it. And sometimes they tell me, sir, time nahi milta. Who heard Bhagavad Gita at what time? Arjuna heard Bhagavad Gita when war is about to start. Can you tell me, is there any bigger crisis in that? Just now, you are not used to those bows and arrows. Somebody is sitting with a gun, you are sitting with another gun. They are about to start shooting each other, correct? And before that, you are saying, I am very confused whether I should fight or not. And already the conches are blown. Previously, the war has been announced and both parties are waiting to throw arrows. And it's millions of soldiers on both the sides. And Arjuna is the chief warrior. He said, just everybody, please wait a minute. I'm confused whether I should fight this war or not. And people are so civilized, nobody threw anything at Arjuna. Anyway, Lord is there, not at anything. Actually, even Duryodhana, as the war was going, he got confused. Whether this Krishna is God or what? Because what all drama was going on. Krishna gave a choice. If you know the famous thing, both of them landed when after the announcement of the war, both of them landed when the war was decided at Krishna's place. And when Krishna was on his, comfortably on his place, where you all know better than me. We are born in India, that's a fortune. Therefore, all I have to do is just find you a little. When you start in the West, how much you have to start from? Scratch! You give Charnami, they don't know which hand to take. It's like complete, what is it, mlecha, kuch malum. On top of it, drugs, drinking from childhood they do. It's like, so you are very blessed. But only thing is that we don't take advantage of that. Prabhupada, when he was preaching in the West, he said, see, somehow in India, they were ruled for 700 years. They have been confused also by so many, people. Today, they lost their confidence. But the moment they take up to spread the message of Gita, you can't beat them. Because for them, it's so natural. It's so natural. Actually, artificially, the leaders are confusing the mass. Otherwise, mass wants to understand the subject matter and they want to benefit themselves and others. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Bharat Bhumile Janma Hoy Yaar, Janma Sarthi Kari Karo Parupkar. You're so fortunate you're born in India. Benefit yourself first and then save the whole world. It's the specific order of Lord Chaitanya to all the Indians. Special privilege. Now what happens? He wants to let one by one they get up and come. Correct? Okay, now what happens that, so Arjuna, you see that in such a tough condition he asks a question, so that it shows that in any condition, in whatever emergency, we should hear Gita, at least few minutes every day, at least read one shlok every day. Second thing is that Arjuna was a family man. Many times this worry is there, sometimes us, sometimes the parents also do. Isko seriously nahi le. You see, it solved the greatest anxiety of Arjuna. This message is so beautiful. And who heard the message? A family man. And after hearing message of Gita, did Arjuna become a sannyasi? In fact, he asked that. Krishna Gita samajh aa gayi, main chala abhi jungle, bas ho gaya, main war nahi karna. The fight. So it never makes anybody irresponsible. Arjuna, what changed? Actually, nothing changed if you see. Same arrows, bows were there, same Arjuna was there, same chariot was there, same battlefield was there. What did change finally? Arjuna's outlook. became very responsible. Actually, what his proposal was, very irresponsible proposal. He ran away from his responsibility. That was Arjuna's proposal. Correct? Krishna says, no, you're a Kshatriya. You have to punish discourse. You can't run away. It's your duty. It's like you are taking a role in the society. You have to do your duty. Society is maintaining you. Everybody has a role in the society. Anyway, that's the basic. Actually, Krishna teaches him something more, which I'll come now. Now, this is a beautiful statement from Einstein. Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. Now, let us come first to spirituality, which is so much to do with it. I feel so sad. So many people practice spirituality without asking any question. And that is why I see some people who just throw ash and throw rings, people worship, that is God. That Nityananda Swami, what all he did, still you look at his ashram, there is a huge crowd. Why people are not asking a question? They never ask a question. They think this is Bakre kidhar hai lena. It's not correct. In Bhagavatam, which goes more advanced, because after you understand Bhagavad Gita, you understand that my position as an Atma, as a servant of the Lord, then you enter the postgraduate study, which is called Srimad Bhagavatam. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna Leela is explained. Particularly the Dashama skanda of Srimad Bhagavatam. And that's what is so nice there, that when Shukadeva Goswami explains Krishna's Rasa Leela, after hearing that, Shukadeva, Parikshit Maharaj was hearing. In the Bhagavad Gita, who spoke? Krishna. That's why it's called Bhagavad Gita. And who heard? Arjuna. Bhagavata was spoken by Shukamuni, son of Veda Vyasa. And it was heard by Arjuna's grandson, Parikshit Maharaj. So when Shukadeva Goswami was speaking about the Leela of Krishna, he speaks the whole, actually, Dasham 9th canto of the Bhagavatam, there also develop the position of Krishna. Who is Krishna? Who is Radha? And then he goes in the Dasham skanda to the Rasa Leela. So sometimes people comment, the mistake is, he goes step back. First understand who is Krishna. Suppose I say something, first I should know who is the person. So when this is explained, immediately he raises his hand. Parikshit Maharaj, my dear master, I have a question. Krishna came to establish dharma. Why is doing adharmic activity? Just imagine. True, there is a one by one, that will take me 1 hour of class. Those who have YouTube, go there, it's there. Why did Krishna perform classes? I have given 1 hour of class on that. I hope it is satisfying. So, but what I am trying to say now, because I don't want to come from my topic today, that there is question answer. Parikshit Maharaj has any bakre ki tarah, and then he said, my dear master, I have a question now. And Shukadeva Goswami then starts asking, it's very nice. Correct? So there is question and answer or not? Currently, yes. In Bhagavad Gita, one more point what happens is that Krishna, he says, Arjuna, I am teaching you this Bhagavad Gita today. But actually this message I taught to Sun God millions of years ago. Who Sun God? Who knows the shloka? 4th chapter, 1st shloka. किसी ने गीता याद करी थी? परशुराम क्षेत्र एवं विवस्वते योगम प्रोक्तावान अहम अव्ययम विवस्वान मनवे प्राहा मनो इक्ष्वाके अब्रवीत. He gives the parampara, just like you are learning, no? You are becoming an engineer today. You will see that whole hostel, one by one, they get up, they will keep till 6 o'clock. So, anyway, so now let me focus on the topic. So, what happens is that Krishna is saying, I taught it to Sun God actually. Sun God taught it to Sun God Vivasman, taught it to son Manu, Vaivasvata Manu. He taught it to son Ikshva. Now Arjuna, he is in a Vedic atmosphere, it's not a Gurukul. He knows, he calculates, that is 120 million years ago. He said, wait a minute, Krishna. What are you talking? You are a contemporary, yeah? You are a dost. What are you saying? It happened in Kumbh Mela. Recently, I went to the last Kumbh Mela. And sometimes they said some of the Babas come there who are very old. So it's a fun, we asked, this Naga Baba, sometimes they had a huge camp there. By Lord's grace, we distributed 2 lakh proper books. That was really some say. Maybe a record, one of the records. So sometimes the sadhus used to come, I used to have general chit chat. I asked one of them, what's your age? He said, I am 120 years old. Possible. They do all this pranayama in Himalayas. But one person made me laugh for 10 minutes. You know what is it? मैं सीता का स्वयं में था. I said, I can't believe this. So something like that Krishna spoke to Arjuna also. I spoke this message, Arjuna, previously to sun god. Before, he gave birth to this Vivasudha Manu. And now Manu's life, 120 million years are over now. So Arjuna immediately said, wait a minute, Krishna. Here I my contemporary, क्या बोल रहे हो सीता के स्वयं में मतलब like that statement. So then Krishna explains. It's not that it's Krishna. So the point is that there is question answer. What my request to you is that please, you should have million questions. All will be answered. In fact, the Vedanta Sutra, the first Vedanta Sutra I showed you in the classes, whole Vedas are summarized in sutras 555, Super 555. That one soap is there, no? 555 sutras, Veda Vyasa. And actually, when Veda Vyasa summarized into those sutras, they were so logically arranged. Sambandha Avideya Prayojana. Sambandha means relationship. Sambandhi bolte nahi, hamara relative. Avideya means what is the process to realize this? We say I am Atma, God is Ishvara, there is this word, that's called philosophy. Me, Lord, and this word. So how do I realize what the Vedas are telling their conclusion? That is called Avideya, that is the process of yoga we follow. And then Prayojana, what happens after realization? Just like teacher is F equal to ME, that is Sambandha, the relationship between force, mass and acceleration. Hamara science case. Then Avideya, you have to do lab the practical. You convince it is true. Then Prayojana, we can make a car or a helicopter or application. Whole Vedanta Sutra is organized in this logical way, Nyaya Shastra. That is called Nyaya, Sambandha, Avideya, Prayojana. And the first invocation of the Vedanta Sutra is what? Atahato Brahma Jigyasa. Ataha Brahma Jigyasa. Now, because I am born in the human form of life, the first class in this session or last session I told, because I am born in the human form of life, I should have Brahma Jigyasa. I should have inquiry, questioning. What kind of questioning? अब ये question नहीं. आज खाने में क्या है? आज I think many people watching cricket match. India Australia second test match, correct?
Yes.
So now, test match. So Sambandha Avideya Prayojana. The same way, Brahma Sutra begins with now, because you are the human form of life, you can have questioning apart from eating, sleeping, all this thing. What kind of questioning? Brahma Jigyasa. Brahma means absolute inquiry. Now both, you see, the scientists, these generally the top scientists, always had an inclination towards the Lord, or they had a doubt that the science is not everything. I'm going to prove one by one. And the Prabhupada's statement is very interesting, that any person, even if he goes to science, sincerely will conclude God is there. It is not contradictory. It is in the same direction. And he says science without religion is late, which I will have to work. I tell you why, what area the science is making mistakes, so the conclusion is coming little different. Little science takes you away from God. Louis Pasteur, very famous personality, but more of it takes you to Him. So generally people who know little science, they tend to be sometimes little atheistic. But those are sincere scientists, they conclude what is there. Now this is something which I did touch in the first presentation, but just small. This looks obvious actually, when you see a beautiful creation, and not only we seeing a beautiful creation, we are also seeing what beautiful systems, just like now your Android has come. So not only mobile is important, but Nokia, one of the problems of Nokia, their operating system did not click so much, previous one. Now they tried Microsoft. Correct? So not only computer is important, software is also important. So similarly, in this world, not only see beautiful designs, you see the kind of intelligence every living entity has. That also gives us bewildering indication. Actually, even when you come to college, one thing very important, you don't see everything. You perceive in the beginning because of the authority of the teacher and all. Later you see. Because why? Because we have to see with knowledge. If I say, I am going from here to Mangalore, now this car is there. And now suppose the car gets spoiled. And me and the driver are looking, we open the bonnet, we are looking, we cannot understand anything. We call a mechanic. Okay? Generally, mechanic sees, on karo, so all of us are seeing, what is the difference? He's seeing with knowledge and he knows what is right. So similarly, people say, I don't see God. Wait a minute, you have to see with knowledge. Okay? You will keep. So when we look at the creation, definitely we get a doubt. And also science is also, with all sincerity, they are also trying to know what is the final truth, where the difference comes. Both science and spirituality looking for the origin. But the difference is, one feels origin is the dead matter, and spirituality feels it's a conscious being. That's at the root of the difference. Because, and which one now you define? Now say, this is the source of everything, this bottle. Everything in this manifestation has come from this bottle. Just take an example. Now, when I look at myself, I can see, I took a class for it, we are not the body, we are soul, correct? I can look at myself, I am conscious personality. Okay? If this is a source, this also has to be conscious personality. Because whatever is outside should be inside this. And this is not just a relative source, it is the absolute source from which everything is come. So, the definition of God is actually, that is the second Vedanta Sutra. Janmadi yasyataha. Janma means the source. Adi means maintenance and destruction. Yasyataha. That is the definition of God. Nowadays, generator, operator, destroyer. That is a new definition. This is since 5,000 years. Janmadi yasyataha. Same thing. You can speak in English or you can speak in Sanskrit. Does not matter. Correct? He is the source of creation, maintenance and destruction. Because this is the absolute source, it has to have what is outside. Because there is no other place things should be available. Everything has come from this. So God, the definition of God is the source of everything. So the science is saying that God, because many people say God doesn't exist. Wait a minute, sir, let us not define God. If you don't define God, how do you say He exists or doesn't exist? God doesn't exist. Wait a minute. First let us define, no? जैसे पानी नहीं है, पहले पता है पानी क्या होता है, करेक्ट? लोग बोलेंगे हमारे निट्टे में सांप नहीं है, पता है तेरे को सांप क्या होता है, दिखाते हैं वीडियो। अगर उसको मालूम ही नहीं है सांप क्या है, तो how will you understand? ठीक है? So similarly, the definition of God is the absolute source. We don't define God as Ishvara, the controller, because controller change. Now we have your principle, and above the principle there is some other controller, above him there is other controller, there are so many controllers, correct? But we are looking definition of God as Janmadi Asyataha, the source of everything. Now, because I am conscious, because I am a personality, I am an individual. My father is also a conscious personality. True? My grandfather is also a conscious personality. All my friends are conscious personality. How can the absolute source lack consciousness and personality? Personality means also form. Thinking, feeling, willing, everything is there. Okay? That is where we differ from science. Science says no, but then there are problems. Now I am going to say that I support my basis, that I say no, we should still consider God as a person, more reasons. Who is an intelligent creator? It has to be a person. Who is the artist? Who is in control? Okay. Who is the person behind this gigantic creation? Is he some power or some energy? Is he a supreme person? Now you look at America. It's a beautiful country. Correct? But there is a person behind it. Correct? Isn't it the person? I give you one more example. ट्रेन में जाते हैं, जो आउट स्टेशन वाले हों तो ट्रैवल करते रहते हैं. अभी टिकट बुक कर लिए होंगे ऑलरेडी. अभी S7 में बैठे हैं, S7 का टिकट मिला. अरे अब you want to find out from how this train is running. Let me find out. I'll prove again the person is. Why S7 is moving? You see S6 is pulling it. That's a relative truth. I am there because my father and mother exist. Otherwise I would not have existed. Correct? That's a relative truth. S6 के आगे देखा S5 खींच रही है, तो मेरे ग्रैंडफादर ने उसके तो चलता रहेगा सर। फिर उसके बाद फाइनली देखा इंजन है, करेक्ट, बोगी 3 बोगी 2 पहुंच गए, उसके बाद देखा इंजन है, ये पुराना मॉडल है, कोयला रखा है बीच में, इंजन है। इंडिया में समटाइम्स यू नो दैट व्हेन गांधी मूवी दे वांटेड टू मेक, दे केम टू इंडिया, वो ट्रेन अभी भी थी, समटाइम्स द ओल्ड ट्रेन्स आर स्टिल रनिंग। एनीवे, सो दे फाउंड, so you are the train, you are very excited, engine is moving, so you feel that actually some impersonal energy is moving everything. No sir, with the inside the driver is there, otherwise train will not run. Is it possible the train is running without the driver? Even if you have remote, somebody has to control. Without control, energy is of no meaning. So we are differing, with all respect to the scientists. You say at the beginning there was some energy, correct? It exploded, now that's a separate issue. But what I am saying is that there has to be a controller of energy for it to do something meaningful. इधर बम फोड़ दिया तो कुछ प्रैक्टिकल नहीं होगा, सब जो भी है टूट जाएगा। True? निट्टे कॉलेज में ऐसी so much arrangement has happened. एक बम फोड़ दिया, ऐसा है कि सारी स्टोरीज अरेंज हो गया और अच्छा हो जाएगा। मैं लेटर टाइप कर रहा हूँ, when we give another example. You know, they generally say by accidents everything is happening. And when we say by accident it all can happen. In fact, in the 4th year I showed them some video, case for a creator. So next time, those all who want a CD from me, I'll give you a CD of all the collection, because hostel में problem है, computer is banned. सबको CD दी थी, it is not of any much use. For those who are day scholars, you send me an SMS, I'll bring each SMS one CD. Okay? I'll bring a CD and give you a collection of fantastic videos. So one of the point there was, suppose you know, Infosys is coming to your college. I don't know whether I took that example. Now suppose millions of monkeys are there in your campus, thousands are there, they can. And now suppose you catch all these monkeys and say that you make a software program. Can they make something meaningful? Did I tell you this in the classes? Some classes I told you this. So our point is that by accident, actually nothing meaningful can be formed. So there has to be a control. Let us keep going. So there has to be a supreme creator. And actually in Krishna, in Bhagavad Gita, that supreme creator. Now another that differs from the science. In science, what we try to do, today I am just giving you an introduction, I will keep developing from the next time. What we are trying to do, we are looking at the creation and we try to infer the creator. Now suppose you look at the laptop. What can you tell me about the creator of the laptop? The person has 2 hands, 8 hands, 5 eyes, 2 eyes, 2 heads, 5 heads. Can you figure that out? Very little you can know. You can say there has to be an intelligent person to make it. But you can't say what kind of person is he. Is he a dog or an animal or a man? You can't know much. True? So by looking at a creation, you cannot tell much about the creator. You get a perception that the creator is there. But what he is, he has to personally come and reveal. Another one. To understand even the creation, we are going bewildered. You ask a microbiologist, inside a cell, how many you saw? Just read in the morning. So 2 trillion molecules are there inside one cell. And there are 100 trillion cells in my body. And when they are trying to study the details of it, they are actually getting stumped. Even to study human genome, they took 10 years. It took 10 years of time. So it's very complicated actually. In fact, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. So that person comes himself and reveals, yes, here I am. People are imagining God will be like this, he is like this, he personally comes down. And all experts recognize him, who are experts in the spiritual science, the great sages. He does activities that only God can do. Lifting a mountain with the finger, showing to his mother a universe in his mouth, showing to Arjuna Vishnu, correct? And all this, as a small child killing a great demon. And if you follow his life, amazing. Those activities cannot be imitated by any human being ever. After that also people die. All theologists, you know, there is some philosophy, people, there is a lot of departments of philosophy. आपके कॉलेज में क्या होता है खाली पैसा बनाना है. They don't have departments of all this. Theosophy. Bhagavad Gita is taught in all the top universities. They study Indian philosophy. Here in India, very few you will find actually. Universities having all these departments, correct? And if you have no students, if you have an elective also, maybe elective and a lot of enthusiasm. You know, the rules also don't allow. But there they are open and they approach it as a beautiful philosophy. घर की खेती घास बराबर हमारी हालत. Okay, so aham sarvasya prabhu उसको भी दबाओ. So Krishna says yes, he declares. So now you see why there is a doubt. There is a beautiful interview, I'll show you someday. They're all sitting in front and they're discussing. Prabhupada is saying, you are all knowing God is there. He said, yes. Here I am presenting you God. You don't know what is God. Who is God? I am presenting. Here is God. If you have other proposal, that's a separate thing. Give me alternate proposal. Here is the person who showed all the activities of God. He showed activities that only God can do. And then you all know the set of activities of Krishna. And when Rasalila Krishna was dancing with thousands of gopis, he expanded to 16,000, thousands of forms at that time. When he was in Dwarka with 16,100 wives, he built palace for each one of them. And then he was there separately in every palace. Now this only God can do. Which even small human being can do that. He showed the activities of God. All the acharyas recognize him. Scripture already predicts that this personality will come on top of it. And another reference, because already previously the scriptures were not written down. Vedavyasa wrote it out for the first time. They didn't need to write down. But already they knew the Lord is going to come. And his activities are like that. All experts agreed. Where is the reason to doubt? So Krishna himself comes and declares. He also says openly, everything is coming out of me. We define God as the source of everything. Now Krishna is saying, Aham sarvasya prabhavaha. I am the source. Everything is coming out of me. Bhagavad Gita 10.8. I am the source of all spiritual and material world and everything emanates from me. In fact, in the history of the world, there have been many jokers who said, I am God. Like, I don't want to say one Baba also said, I am God. But they could not dare to speak this. They could not. Because you have a definition of God in your mind. But God has to be the source. And Krishna says, yes, I am the source. Okay. So then the next question comes that, can you show me God? There was a video actually. Okay, now let me finish up, wind up. 5 more minutes. Somebody may say, can you show me God? But you know, there is a problem. Number one, because somebody says, okay, it has a meaning. You are saying that it is not some vacuum or something from which everything has come. There is a personality. Can you show me the personality? Question number one. God is not your order carrier. Arey yaar, aao bansuri leke dekhna jara, dance karo. If I say, I agree Manmohan Singh exists only if he comes now and stands in front of me, now he's your servant or what? True? Number one. And point number two is that, do you have the qualification to see him? He is a Supreme Father. Why he will not like to come? He loves to. More than you are eager to see him, he wants to talk to you. But the point is, we are not ready now. We can't handle his opulence. We get envious. That's why we are all here. When you see God with all his glories, Krishna coming with thousands of gopis behind, you will get really envious. And he's so opulent. He's so beautiful. In Vrindavan, nobody wanted to marry anybody except him. He's so beautiful. In Mathura, people used to faint seeing him. It's so amazing. And power you can imagine. Jarasandha used to come with armies and used to say, his Mathura people, just said, used to alone with his brother Balaram eliminate the whole armies of Jarasandha 16 times. And you know, in Mahabharata, what fun was going on. Real fun. Sometimes sunset has been happened. Sometimes chariot has gone down. One huge Astara came, come like a garland around Krishna. You know what all it did? It was every moment playing tricks like anything. Okay, so such an opulent, great personality who served 1 million of great devotees. We have a problem. Actually, we are envious. You know, envy? That's the problem. Therefore, what all the great acharyas All religions are great actually. Last time we gave the presentation of competitions, all they make you bow down to God. Either as a Muslim or a Christian or a Hindu. The first thing he learns, God is great. Correct? So this is the fundamental thing. Until we are convinced of that, and the great devotees of the Lord who carry the love, the glories of God in their heart, it is through them actually that God is revealed. Because they train us to become a great devotee of the Lord. Then gradually, in proportion to the service attitude we develop, God is revealed. Proportionately, the degree of service attitude you develop towards Lord will be revealed. Okay, so that is why I request everybody that बड़ा बड़ा तपस्या हमसे नहीं होता, एक छोटा चीज कर सकते हैं. Hare Krishna. Class I gave you, remember I explained to you how the yoga system, which is very practical for Kali and very authorized, is chanting the name of the Lord. Hare Krishna. That's why I request everybody, if you can do that, at least small service I can do, Krishna. And I can do like an experiment. What is there? 15 days. Say I will every day chant for 10 minutes. It takes 1 month, I get over. I don't lose anything, but the benefit is unimaginable. Is there any expenditure? Is there any side effect? Is there any overdose? No. But the benefit is, you cannot even imagine the benefit. You cannot even imagine. Okay, so we know we are limited, we see only within a particular range. And this argument I told you, the vehicle is not working. You have to understand what's the problem with knowledge, correct? So just seeing is not enough. You have to see with knowledge, then you can understand what is there. The required qualification is, yes, what happened? The spiritual life. Another thing is, when we approach in science, we are trying to understand a dead matter. So we have all equations and all. But here, you are trying to approach a personality. So therefore, we develop 2, 3, 9 stages of development. Did I explain it any time? I explained you once. The first stage is called Shraddha. That's why you all come today. There is something in it. Shraddha. Then it's called Sadhu Sangha. Sadhu Sangha means you come in a session of devotees and try to understand. Okay? You want to understand a personality, a great supreme personality. You go to the people who love him. You want to understand any person, you always go to the people who know him. They will give you bhajana kriya, just like we are all requesting you. Sit down every day, please chant Hare Krishna Mantra. That is a simple bhajana kriya that we can do. And when you accept the bhajana kriya, you read about the Lord and you chant his name. Anartha nivritti, first thing, if you have a bona fide bhajana kriya, anartha nivritti, all the unwanted desires should gradually disappear from my heart. Then next thing is, that is the first proof you are on the right process. If I go near sun, I should become hot. God is all pure. I am doing something for the pleasure of God. The proof is whether it is getting pleased or not. How do you know? The heart should be purified. Another, and in fact, by Lord's grace, this movement has been very effective in that. Most of the followers in the West that we encounter are drug addicts, drunkards, whatnot. In the beginning, major chunk was from the hippie community. And hippies were by definition means mad. So anartha nivritti has worked, it works. And then in Nishtha, Nishtha means we develop faith. Okay, that is called Nishtha, Pura Vishwasa. So why? Because you see my heart has become pure, it's working, the process is working, correct? I am feeling so pure. I defined you in the class Sattva-guna. You see the complete Sattva-guna manifest in you. No harassment of the senses, no lethargy. What a beautiful thing. You develop Nishtha. And then when you chant after this, you chant with so much faith. See, beginning is faith builds on faith. Now I tell you, he's a very nice boy. How do you know? You interact, you come to him. You cannot just build on faith builds on faith. How do you know what the person is? When you go little faith and then you start interacting, then you go, yeah, he's a really gentleman person. Correct? Faith builds on faith. When you came, you didn't know anybody. So that leads to ruchi. Next, with faith when you build Krishna consciousness, with faith when you chant, now this chanting is very pleasing to Krishna. I take an example. Abhi, I come to know this person is there. Pani rakha hai aise. Pee. That is the service we do to Krishna in the beginning. You are faithless. Pata nahi hai, nahi hai. But when with faith you go in front and give the bottle, please take. That is so much pleasing to you. You will accept the service. It's a person, no? You are approaching a person. There was a pujari in a temple. All his life was doing puja, part, everything. But he never got interaction from the Lord. No personal revelation. So at the end of his life, not end, so 60 years, 40 years of seva is done, 20 years of life to 60 years. He said, enough of this now. He looked at the deity. Enough. Now I am not going to serve you anymore. Not once came in my dream or you gave me some encouragement, some happiness. Not even any happiness of serving you. I am not going to stay in this temple anymore. I am going to leave you like this, and he walked out. Suddenly a hand touched on the backside. He said, why now? He said, till now you did puja without any personal touch, with no faith, simply like a upchara. So I also received like a upchara. This is the first day you talk to me personally, so I also look at it personally. So all depends on you. So ruchi means because you do with faith and with attention now, full, this process is very nice. Now something you feel great pleasure. When you say Hare Krishna, when you chant, it feels so sweet, as if somebody put some rasgulla in your mouth. So pleasing it is. And in India, there is no shortage of people who are certified to that. Correct? Grandparents sometimes will tell you. Asakti means so much affection how you feel for the Lord. And bhava means you feel primal love for the Lord. Primal love. Just like sunrise se pehle hota na light aa jati, वैसा bhava. And then prema, full love for Lord. Krishna is present in front of you 24 hours. ये नहीं कल रात को देखा था, ऐसा नहीं होता. When you become qualified, you see Krishna. So you become fully satisfied. Okay. And similarly, to learn science, we have to submit ourselves to college and follow the discipline and everything. Correct? Engineering mein kya lab bhi karo, ye karo, wo karo, so many things are there. In the same way, to learn spiritual line also, we have to follow the rules and regulations, learn the discipline, and practice principles like that. Similarly, there is no unwanted demand. And as we follow, this I explained to you in the class, our consciousness goes higher and higher. Bodily, sensual, mental, intellectual, spiritual. Okay? And then we can understand. So we request everybody, please do this japa at least. This much you can do every day. And it is when you chant this Hare Krishna mantra, it's not you have to put an effort to withdraw the mind. Just focusing on the Harinama does everything automatically. When you put yourself mind on the positive engagement, already negative engagements go away. So most scientists now, to conclude, for the science, for the religion, God is at the beginning. For the science, God is at the end. You see, somehow they have spoken this very true. They will all conclude. I am also confident. All the sincere scientists will say to the world one day, God is there. But it takes time. Just like cow dung was there in India, we were taking benefit of it from the ages. The Britishers came to India. One of the reasons for colonizing and torturing Indians, you know what they said? They are so aborigine. They use cow dung in the house. Stool of an animal. They had no idea of cow dung. But after 50 years of research, they said it is completely antiseptic. Now we don't want to waste the time. We see Vedas say cow dung is good. We use it and we see it is fine. Correct? So we start with what the Vedas say. They say we don't want to accept the Vedic authority. Then you reinvent the wheel. If you don't accept the college, if you want to learn mechanical engineering, what is going to happen? What has happened in 200 years of mechanical engineering, you will not able to do all your life. That is called reinventing the wheel. Correct? So we accept the Vedas, we go faster. For the religion, God is at the beginning. For the science, God is at the end. Max Planck, very famous, Planck constant. There is Albert Einstein, there is the perfect brain behind all natural physical laws. There is Kelvin, who gave you the thermodynamic laws. If you think strongly enough, you will be forced by science to believe in God. Here is Newton, another Newton laws. This most beautiful system of sun, planets and comets could only proceed from a council and domain intelligent powerful being. But with all these inputs, they had one misfortune. There was nobody to tell them about God. They could feel God is there, but somebody can tell them about God. This is Francis Collins. Very recently, he was the head of the people who studied the human genome. And he concluded, when I see 3.1 billion letter instruction in the DNA for human being, it gives me a sense of awe. I can't help but look at these pages and have a vague sense of this, giving me a glimpse of God's mind. Correct? It cannot be by accident, such a detailed design. See, nature producing such a code by an accident is like a monkey typing a Shakespeare's play, which is impossible. This is another one. These are all recent. Director of US National Human Genome Research Institute. Oh, sorry, that is for, I forget to remove that line. Now this is another one. Nobel Prize winning chemist. He says, in my search of secret of life, I ended up with atoms and electrons. Because see, I am conscious. But if you go inside a human system and then atom, finally cells and then atoms and electrons, somewhere along the line, life has run through my fingers. It has slipped out because atom, electron, nothing is living, it's all dead. I can now, so in my old age now, I am now retracing my steps. He's having a dog. Big scientist. Here is another one. Please ignore this Francis Collins that is coming again and again because these are all slides duplicated and then we change the text of the photo. This person now, French Anderson, leading Genesis and the father of gene therapy. We do have a religious spiritual aspect to our being. This will be difficult to quantitate, but it exists. Okay, so there was something introduction. I think that's fine also for me. Now we can have 10-minute chanting. Is it for fine? Or we start your dinner? You can hear the chanting. The boys are there in India. The boys are not in so much rush. Girls are in. Little chanting. Get the japamalas. First, okay. We'll make everybody chant. Kirtan we can do. Yes. Because first time. Those who not got the mala, those who got the mala, how many people already are chanting every day? And next week, if you are chanting even for 1 week, I am going to give you 100 rupees calendar. They all have got it. ठीक है. Anyway, पहले न्यू आदमी को दे दो, बची तो इनको भी दे देना. यहाँ पे किसको चाहिए? हाँ. And the boys also please be there by 6:30. Last time they don't reach. अभी करने के लिए अभी give it to the people first who don't have it. Everybody got it. Yeah, I'm getting it. You want? You can handle my hand. Hare Krishna. Okay, everybody got? That's fantastic. Now we chant it very simply. In fact, before we chant the mantra, we chant. You can follow me. Give you the card. Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Prabhu Nityananda. Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhara. Shri Advaita Gadadhara. Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Okay, and now we will chant together so that we can do fast. 1, 2, 3. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,